Good morning. January 4th, 2025. Um, we're in a new calendar year. Welcome to Just for Today reading, discussion, meditation, and prayer time. I'm Reverend Rafe Ellis, Senior Minister and Spiritual Leader at Columbia Center for Spiritual Living in Columbia, Maryland. And today is January 4th. And so this is a time of eclectic readings that are from different sources of daily reading books that I have. And I just grab one at random, and then I'll read it and we take a metaphysical look at it. And so wisdom can come from anywhere. And that's part of what this journey is. It's really learning that what can I put in place today? What can I learn from today? How can I expand my awareness, my knowledge, and my spiritual practice just today? And so the book I grabbed this morning is titled Devotions for Every Day of the Year, Jesus Calling, Enjoying Peace in His Presence. There's what that looks like. Now, in metaphysics, we view Jesus, the person, as the example of what's possible rather than the great exception of the great example, and is typically looking at the teachings of Jesus, which the Science of Mind book that was written by Reverend Dr. Ernest Holmes, about a third of it is the teachings of Jesus. And it's referring to the consciousness, the awareness, the ownership of our divinity that Jesus taught, or at least the record of his teachings. In all fairness, we know very little about the whole life of this human being. We know what was written about the birth of the human being Jesus, and a little bit about his childhood, and then there's nothing until his adulthood. So we really don't have a whole picture of what happened. My reading of the teachings of Jesus is that he continually taught that we are the infinite in form, that creator, father, whatever word works for you, is in us and we are in it, which is a very metaphysical approach. Um, so let's check out the reading and see what it might have for us. I want you to learn a new habit. Try saying, quote, I trust you, Jesus, end quote, in response to whatever happens to you. If there is time, think about who I am, all caps, in all my power and glory. Ponder also the depth and breadth of my love for you. This simple practice will help you see me in every situation, acknowledging my sovereign control over the universe. When you view events from this perspective, through the light of my universal presence, fear loses its grip on you. Adverse circumstances become growth opportunities when you affirm your trust in me no matter what. You receive blessings gratefully, realizing they flow directly from my hand of grace. Your continual assertion of trusting me will strengthen our relationship and keep you close to me. So, if we look at that through a metaphysical perspective, um, it could be read differently. Yet maintain the integrity of what it's actually saying. Um, I want you to learn a new habit. Try saying, I trust Christ consciousness in response to whatever happens to you. If there is time, think about who I am in all my power and glory. The I am capitalized is the infinite. So if we think about the infinite in all its power and glory and ponder also the depth and breadth of the divine's love for us as its creation, that it is always with us, that it operates in, through, and as us, that's easy to wrap ourselves around. Yes? This simple practice will help you see me in every situation, to see God in every situation, to see spirit in every situation. Um, we have a gazillion names for this infinite beingness, absolute consciousness in every situation, acknowledging my sovereign control over the universe. For me, that brings up the law of cause and effect, that the activity of creation, the impersonal aspect of the triune nature of creation, um, we set consciousness in motion, and then law, the operation of cause and effects, takes over. And the outcome is really an outpicturing of our belief. And sometimes what we have on the surface is different than the belief we have underneath. And so it's an automatic feedback loop for us about what we actually believe. When we view events through this perspective, through the light of my universal presence, metaphysics teaches that God is everywhere present. There is no spot where God is not. So that's easy. Fear loses its grip on you. Fear, in my experience, is always predicated on a sense of separation. And so when we really do understand that spirit is everywhere present, including in and around us, there really is nothing to fear. It doesn't mean we ignore in the autonomic nervous system that's our physical warning system, but all of the thought fear, the mental fear, the narrative writing about disastrous predictions, we can let go of that. Adverse circumstances become growth opportunities when you affirm your trust in me, no matter what. Trust in Christ consciousness, our trust in consciousness, our trust in the absolute, no matter what, that we're not allowing ourselves to be bound by circumstances, that we acknowledge the circumstance. We certainly live here on planet Earth, so that's a helpful thing to do, and that we see beyond the circumstance and know the truth, that life is unfolding exactly as in response, it's reflecting the beliefs of all of humanity. And so in the strength and truth of oneness, we can have a role in shifting that by finding any belief in us that resonates with that condition that we dislike and work on changing that. We're not trying to change other people's thinking. We're just trying to change our own use of consciousness, which helps heal the whole. You receive blessings gratefully, realizing they flow directly from my hand of grace. Grace is that unearned love. Grace is simply the divine givingness of itself to itself. Grace is that place in creation where it truly has no judgment. Your continual assertion of trusting me will strengthen your relationship and keep you close to me. Ernest Holmes talks about in The Science of Mind about having direct revelations when we stay in close contact. Talks about developing a personal relationship with Creator. And that's that bridge, that both and of being in human experience and remembering and communing and being in relationship, the human self with the divine self. It's a beautiful space. I work daily at being there more often because let's face it, it's oftentimes challenging to dance with the events of this human experience. I think that's why we call it spiritual practice. So I see we have one person on. Curious what your thoughts are. And there are no right or wrong thoughts. There are just our thoughts, our perspectives, our imagination, our wonderings. You can share those in the chat. I can see the chat. And I see that whoever's joining us is on, looks like Twitch TV, and I'm not sure you can chat from there. So maybe you're not able to. So that's really all I have to share this morning. And so I think we'll go into our time of meditation. It is a brief 5-minute meditation. Trying to see what I did with my phone. I think I might have left it downstairs. I'll have to time it differently. So we'll do a 5-minute meditation. I will close us out with a spiritual mind treatment, also known as affirmative prayer. And I'm not sure who's on, so just to clarify, spiritual mind treatment is simply a 5-step process where we recognize the infinite. We recognize that we are always unified with it, that we were born unified with it. We live in unification with it because we're never separate from it. And then we declare what's true in step 3. In step 4, we speak a word of gratitude. And then in step 5, we release. So let's go into our meditation. And so I recognize the infinite, the one power, consciousness itself, one absolute reality that is the source and substance of all creation. It is self-existent, meaning it was never created out of something else, that it has always simply been. Whether we call it the quantum field, whether we call it Buddha, God, Allah, Great Spirit, the Great Mystery, the universe, no matter what we call it, it is beyond a single name. It is limitless, nameless, changeless. Being the only thing there is nothing for it to change into. And yet it expresses an exquisite multiplicity. No two expressions of it alike. It expresses in, through, and as all creation, seen and unseen. It expresses as physical form, and it expresses in all of the invisible energies within and around that form. It is the wind that I cannot see, but I feel. It is the breath that I cannot see, but that breathes me, sustains me. It is love that is demonstrated through its unqualified giving to itself. Grace. That it just simply gives without restriction to its creation as we open to receive it. That the giving is always there, that the hose is always fully charged. And then I experience it to the degree that I open the tap. I am one as creation. It lives, moves, and has its being in, through, and as me. And what is true of me is true of all creation. That everywhere I look, I see God. I see love. I see life. Individualizing itself, expanding its experience of itself. And so in this truth of oneness, I am connected with all of life. That there is truly no separation. And so no matter where I am in the presence of the infinite. No matter what I'm relating to or who I'm relating to, I am in relationship with the infinite. And so I align myself this morning with the reading to allow myself to trust to choose to trust the Christ consciousness within me, the human expression of absolute consciousness, the human reality of the absolute reality, that I thou relationship. I choose to see, to truly know, to allow myself to know the truth beyond condition, to recognize that condition is the effect of belief, and that back of that is the cause, the movement of consciousness, consciousness itself, that simply says yes to itself. And so anything that shows up as out of alignment, I am responsible. Within me is the ability to respond, to shift the consciousness that created it, the awareness that created it, the belief that is demonstrating in that form. So I open my eyes and my ears and my heart to see the truth back of all condition, that love is the greatest power there is. And I refuse to be fooled by any condition of hate as having its own power. That I wrap all of that in the love of the infinite and speak truth to the lie. I seek out and find and shift every belief in me in anything separate from the one, that any remnant of belief in me assigns a separate power to. And I remind myself that there is only one. And as I remember the truth, the whole of consciousness, the whole of humanity, the whole of this earth realm is healed. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the activity of law, the activity of cause and effect, that always accurately produces that reflection in this physical realm of what is believed, offering a continuous opportunity of shift, offering a continuous opportunity to correct thought and belief. Grateful for the activity of the law of cause and effect that simply responds to what is moved by belief, by thought. The impartiality, the impersonal nature of it, that is the accuracy of it. Acting as pure intelligence. It simply responds. And so I celebrate that. And knowing that the word spoken is the word fulfilled. The word being consciousness moved into being. I can let go. I let go of the false notion that the human I, the human me, needs to make anything happen, but rather I allow things to happen through me. I allow the infinite to express as me. By releasing, I step fully into the oneness, into the truth of one. So I let go. I let go of any ideas of resistance. I let go of any ideas of separation. I trust. I trust that Christ consciousness within all of creation. And I let go. And as I release, I feel the peace beyond articulation, the peace that all is truly well. Ashe. Shalom. Aho. Amen. Amen. And so it is. Stay.